Greetings, friends! Today is everyone's least favorite day on the homestead. And today we are weeding the garden. Yes, weeding the garden is one of my least favorite things to do in the homestead, and I'm sure the rest of the family probably agrees. The other least favorite thing that I like to do, or chore that I don't look forward to doing, is washing eggs. So weeding the garden and washing eggs are chores that I really don't look forward to doing when we have to do them. What about you? What is your chore around your homestead, around your house, whatever, that you just don't look forward to doing? I've been reading a book from Josiah called Folks, This Ain't Normal. And in one of the chapters, he's talking about just how things used to be with the way children grew up and the type of lifestyle that they had with various chores around a homestead. And one of those chores is just working the garden and weeding and doing things like that, and how those chores and those tasks help build character. And I must say, weeding the garden helps me build character too. And also just in general, working in the garden and tending to plants, seeing something grow and seeing something die if you mismanage it, or just disease and by happenstance things just don't go right. There's a lot of lessons involved in that. And so far in our disconnected society, we're becoming more and more disconnected from those type of things. And as a result, we're missing out on many of the lessons that we could learn in the process of really being hands-on and participating. Well, this year has been a really challenging year with dealing with weed pressure. And I'm adding landscape fabric more and more around the garden just to help with better managing it. And that has helped out a lot, but still the weeds are winning the battle. At least they were. This is the turning point in the battle. So right now we're really trying to clean things up. And check out right here. These even grow on top of the landscape fabric. This is crazy. So we're getting it up. And Selah just loaded up a batch that we're gonna take up to the goats. So we are actually recycling what we're pulling out. Ready, Selah?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll give you a hand. You pull, I'll push.
Okay.
Yeah! Maybe right here. Not 100% sure where to put these, but I think we might just put them on the tree. Our goats really don't like eating things off the ground, so we're gonna try to toss it on top of one of the logs here, and they can just eat right off the top of that. These goats overall, they do a really good job of just foraging. We brought them into this area here recently to kind of work this area down, just because things were so overgrown. We actually couldn't even see over through the other side, but they are really getting it down, and we can actually see through here now. And they're just helping us manage. These are our co-workers here, Helga and Olga, our co-workers on the homestead. Like he threw it on my back.
Looks like Olga got a saddle.
He's carrying it around our back. How things coming over here?
They're coming along.
Getting them out?
Pulling out roots.
For those of you who aren't aware, our property is on a slope, and one of the things that I had to do, which is a big project and a progressive project, is to terrace out this slope, so that way we can have garden sections where there wasn't runoff of the soil just creating erosion and a number of other problems of seed washing away. There's so many benefits to if you're on a slope, to terracing where you're having your garden beds. It really makes a lot of sense, and many cultures have done it for years. So there's a number of challenges with having to garden on a slope. Right now, one of the challenges that we've had to deal with is just the weed pressure on part of the area as you're transitioning to the slope. I guess that would be like where you would have your retaining wall. I don't know what it would be called, but here I've laid down the landscape fabric in one of our major walkways, and it has done a great job for keeping the weeds out of this area down here. And I just recently added some to this part of the slope because the weeds were just going crazy, and that's what Lacie is working on right now, because they were just going crazy and overtaking. And one of the biggest problem weed we have is Bermuda grass, aka devil grass. It's a challenging weed for us to deal with because it just grows everywhere, and even sometimes on top of the landscape fabric, and even on our sandbags, and that's pretty crazy.
In our sandbags.
Yeah, on, in, around, just wherever.
So earlier, while I was weeding over here, I found something that I've never seen before in person. And it's called a hammerhead worm. I've heard about them, but I haven't seen them around here. They are an invasive species, and what they eat is they eat earthworms, so we don't want them in our garden. But I also know that if you cut them in half, they'll just regenerate, and instead of having one worm, you'll have two worms. So from what I understand, the only way to really kill them is to burn them. So we're gonna have to burn up some worms here in a little bit.
Yucky. I can't say I've ever seen one of those before either. It looks like something off Aliens or something. Yuck. So we definitely want to get rid of those bad guys. We don't want them hurting our earthworms. We need those. Lacey and Mike have done a good job here pulling out these weeds.
You pulling out devil grass?
Alright, so next we're just take our landscape fabric from up here on the slope, pull it down, all the way down right there, and then pull this one right over top of it. Just pin it down, and that should keep the weeds from growing out that way. And I don't know what I'll do long term, if we'll do a block here or we'll actually start planting things here on the slope, but it will at least keep the grass down in this area as well. So with the Bermuda grass and the way it is, it may try to work its way up through there, but we keep it sealed down, it should mostly do the job. So yeah. I have a number of projects planned for the colder season, and one of the projects will be making some steps here, right here with block, as we transition from the one lower section up to a higher section in our garden. So that will really just help tie things in better, as well as make it easier to just maneuver and move around here in the garden. Because one of the things you have to deal with as you're moving up is you start sliding. It'd just be so much easier to have steps here. Come right up and walk. So things aren't perfect, but we strive to make progress continually. Woo! It's pretty warm in here. Good thing we recently installed windows in our yurt here. Before that we had Velcro windows that you had to go outside and put on and take off. Now we have real windows that you can open and close from the inside. So let's open them up and get some airflow in here. Like some water?
Oh, thank you.
Here we go.
I want some water.
You can have some too. One of the things I've been trying to encourage the kids on is if you take a break, make sure you bring back something for other people who are working with you. And water, if you're getting water in this case, because they need water. Having fun weeding right here?
Oh, loads.
So how do you pump yourself up to do stuff you don't want to do? Oh, does that stop you?
Yeah, you did stump me.
It is something you have to think about. I have that challenge too. It's like, how do you push yourself to do some of the things you don't want to do? One of the things I do is I try to keep in mind the overall vision and what and who is benefited from what we need to do. So what about you guys? How do you motivate yourself and pump yourself up to do some of the things you just don't enjoy doing? Got your answer yet?
I guess I think about when it's over. What I can do when it's over.
You focus with the end in mind.
There we go.
Alrighty, so we're making progress. We have the back half of our garden mostly done, and now we're working right here inside of our caterpillar tunnel, and we'll soon be adding the plastic on here, believe it or not, and that's kind of interesting to think about, and could happen sooner than we may think because the temperatures have been getting cooler in the mornings. But right now our peppers are still cranking and doing fantastic. These Murasaki peppers are prolific big time. So in a previous video I mentioned about trying to grow peppers as perennials because I've heard that you can do it, and a couple of you gave some really good suggestions on how to do it. I guess you guys have been successful at doing it and talked about cutting them down when the time comes for the frost or whatever to about 6 to 8 inches, and then keeping them protected from the cool temperature. So we're going to try to do that. So we're going to try to maximize what we can out of them now. We'll eventually put the plastic over to the caterpillar tunnel here, and then we will cut the peppers down and see if we can make them last until next year, because I've heard that they actually will produce more in their second season.
Okay, well look what I found right here. So it's one of the green garden spiders, and she has her egg sac that she's protecting.
It's amazing all the different things we see out here when we're just outside, connecting, doing the work that we need to do, and just experiencing life on the homestead, life of being outside. And we're also getting some fresh air and some vitamin D at the same time, and even exercise too. Believe it or not, gardening, even it can also include raking leaves, you can burn up to 400 calories per hour of doing activities like that. So we've put in at least about 2 hours now, so I guess you burn maybe about 800 calories.
Something like that.
So we burned about 800 calories out here working the garden, doing what needs to be done, getting some fresh air and vitamin D at the same time. Feels good, even if it's a chore task that we don't necessarily like to do as much as some others. And now it's dinner time. So after we did what you saw already, in addition to that, mowed the grass, broad forked, and got some more weeds up with the Haas wheel hoe. So a lot of weeding today. Definitely burned a lot of calories. I'm thinking probably burned anywhere from 1,200 to 1,600 calories total. That's a lot of calories. However, I don't recommend counting calories and watching calories. Just something to be mindful of, that you can get your exercise in through the different things that you're doing for your fall garden. So pretty excited about that. So tonight we have enchiladas. I've been wanting that for quite some time. So thank you very much for making that.
You're welcome.
So earlier you saw that we had a number of peppers that were growing out there. In addition to the purple peppers, we also have a number of hot peppers like this one here that is in our garden, as well as the 5-colored Chinese pepper, which is really hot. But your hot peppers contain capsaicin in it. Capsaicin, however you want to pronounce it. But that is really good for you. And actually, it has been proven to fight chronic disease, as well as it's a pain reducer. It's really good for you. So I'm thinking maybe I want to start eating these on a daily basis. And with the cold temps coming up, maybe we want to can these and whatever you call it, fermenting, and just preserve them so that way I can eat this throughout the colder months. So yummy. Woo.
Big bite.
Shoot fire at them.
that was a big bite.
Well, we're calling it a day today. If you burn some calories, let me know in the comment section below. We always love hearing your comments. So thank you. That's it for now. It's dinner time. I'm gonna eat. See you later.